Hello and welcome. Today is another card that's been prepped by Lynda, and this one's tried my brain power, I have to say. She's cut a card blank and a panel that goes on top fold. I'll do the measurements for those in a moment, but she has used this Fresh Feelings pad, which is from the works, and she's used these watery type papers. She's provided me with a white panel which goes on to this. So this card blank is, let's say, top fold, so that's 6 5/8 of an inch by 6 1/8 of an inch. So that will be top fold, and then this is going to go on the top. So I'm going to stick that on before I get too involved with the rest. So that's 6, and so it's the same width as the card, 6 5/8 by 4 1/2, and I'm going to stick that on with some Collall. I'm going to try not to move that because that's not stuck down, and that's how I want it. So I'm going to try and stick this without moving that. So that completely covers the top of the card. So I'll get that on there and let that sit and dry because we're going to stick things on that in a moment. So there's a panel under here which I'll share the measurements for in a moment when I've done it. So I think we're going to stick this on with quick grab, although I may regret that decision. So she's cut slivers of the paper from the pad. So, and then she laid them out. I did have a picture, lost it, so I've winged it. So I'm sliding each panel out. I've laid it in a pattern that I'm happy with, and I'm going to slide each one out and stick them down. So I'm going to cover all of it with the glue, and then we'll cut the excess off when it's done. I'm going to try not to interfere with the layout too much, so I'm going to hold that. So now I've got that one on, I know I've got a little bit more leeway. So let's get this one on next. So this has got crab and fish and seahorses on it. And I'm just butting them up against each other so they make one panel topper. Get this one on, and then I'm going to double check that everything still fits because I've got to cover the panel. I think for this last one I'm going to stick the glue on here just so that I don't have too much overhanging. Of course, if you've got some sheets of double-sided paper, you could put that down on the panel instead and then just lay these on it once you know what orientation they're going in. So that's that side done. Let's make sure these line up again just before we go ahead. Yeah, just okay. I'm going to set that aside to dry, and I'm going to assemble what else she's given me to put on the top. You can see it's overhanging at the back, so I'm going to set that aside to dry. So the other elements that are going on the top are Happy Birthday, and this is a big die set with a shadow I have in my stash. So I'm going to stick those together, and what she's done is reversed the colours on these. So I'm going to stick these together and then we'll come back, trim the edge off, and then finish up. Okay, so these are stuck. I did that with some quick grab glue. I couldn't find the die cut dot for the eye, so I found a little white sparkle gem in my stash and I've put that on there instead, so I think that's quite nice. So those are done and ready to go on. Okay, this is now stuck enough for me to trim this off. I think I'm going to do that with the trimmer. Let me mark with a pencil because I'm going to use the guillotine, so I want to know where to trim to in the first instance. I only need to do this once because I've got a hard edge on my guillotine. So I'm using the back up and I'm going to put my mark lines on the cutting edge just to get that first edge off, because once that's off I can use this edge down here to trim it off. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn it and use this edge, because now that's flat and straight. Now I'm going to line that edge up there and just take the rest off. The beauty of having a guillotine is if you haven't taken quite enough off, you can go and take the tiniest sliver. Let me show you the tiniest sliver off. Okay, so this is the finished panel. So make sure it's the right way up. I've got directional papers on here so the fish aren't swimming upside down. This is the card base, and then that will go on top there. So as you can see, Lynda prefers a much slimmer border to her matte layers than I do usually. So we're going to stick this on with some Collall, and then the happy goes on the front and the birthday comes down the bottom. So I'm going to pop these up on this one up on some foam, definitely. This one I'm going to stick straight down using some quick grab. So let's get that on. Okay, so I have put the birthday on with quick grab, so that's going anywhere. And I've got these thin strips of double-sided foam which come on a sheet, very tricky to get off. So that's ready to go, and that is going to go in the centre of the panel. So I'm going to find some gems, I think, and put either side of the birthday just to give a bit of interest down there. Okay, so this is a finished card. So another reasonably quick one to put together. I've been doing this for about 25 minutes. The thing certainly for me that took the time was getting these triangular pieces to form this backing panel. That by far was the thing that took up most of the time. The rest of it, even if it wasn't pre-prepared, it will be quite quick to set up and do. So yes, another lovely card designed and prepared by Lynda for me to put together for you today. So if you've enjoyed today's video, please consider giving it a like and subscribing to the channel if you haven't already done so. I hope to see you next time. Goodbye.